Hello there. Welcome again to our today's discussion. Uh, with you is your holistic nutritionist, Duncan Angila. And today we will be talking about nutrition management of overweight and obesity. I know this is a widely discussed topic worldwide, and today we will look at just briefly what are the nutritional concepts and what can we do nutritionally to either prevent or manage overweight and obesity. Uh, First, we'll start by defining what does it mean when we say somebody is overweight or somebody is obese. Obesity means excess accumulation of fat in the body more than the recommended one. And somebody is said to be overweight or obese when we do the anthropometric measurements, and the commonly used is called body mass index or BMI. BMI is a computation that shows the relationship of your weight and your height. And an example, if somebody is weighing, let's say, 55 kilograms, and his height is 155 centimeters, we calculate his BMI by taking his weight of 55 kilograms divided by the square of his height in meters. So that is 55 divided by 1.55 squared. Whatever we get is called BMI, which is in kilogram per square meters. World Health Organization have categorized the values of BMI, giving us a range between 18.5 kilograms per square meters to 24.9 kilograms per square meters. Anyone who is below 18.5 kilograms per square meters BMI is called underweight. Anyone who is between 18.5 to 24.9 have a normal BMI, that is weight, a good weight in relation to their height. Anyone having a BMI of 25 to 29.9 is called overweight. And anyone having a BMI above 30 is called obese. So that is what it means to say you are obese or you are overweight. Having said that, it's good to know that there are risk factors to being overweight. There are no specific causes that will say something here causes overweight, but there are things that makes you more at risk of being obese or being overweight, and we just share a few of them. One of them is your genetic makeup. There are people who inherit obesity and overweight from their family members. Number two is your food choices. What you eat, you become that thing. If you eat a lot of junk foods, a lot of fatty foods and sugary foods, you are more at risk of becoming obese or overweight. Another risk factor is the lack of physical activity. People who tend to do adequate exercise are less at risk of being overweight or being obese. Again, if you were malnourished at your early ages, when you were born before your time, or maybe when you are born when you are underweight, you are most likely to become overweight in future. Again, those that are short for their age when they are young, or those who are short generally, are more at risk of getting obese or overweight, because we say that BMI is calculated by your height, your weight divided by your height. So it means that the shorter you are, the more likely that you become obese. There are those who are using also contraceptives, which are also making them to be more at risk. And again, that's why we find that many women are more likely to be overweight or obese compared to men. So those are a few risk factors that could lead someone to be obese or to be overweight. It's also good to highlight there are few complications that can come when somebody is overweight or obese. And that is why overweight and obesity is no longer just a condition, but it is a disease. Because when you have got obesity or diabetes, obesity or overweight, then you are at risk of getting some of the commonly known as non-communicable diseases. One of them is high blood pressure, which again is one of the common diseases which are affecting those that are overweight. They are also at risk of getting high cholesterol, diabetes type 2. We have got stroke. There's some ulcers. We also have got some cancers that are related to overweight and obesity. Stroke. We have got those who are at risk of getting arthritis, among other diseases. So this is why we are emphasizing that we need to prevent and we need to manage overweight and obesity, because when it comes, it might lead to some of those health complications which are long term and very expensive to manage. So having said that, it's important now to share what can we do to prevent obesity or overweight in our generation. Again, we emphasize what you eat is important. When you eat right, you are able to have a good nutrition status, that is being in the normal weight for your height. So if you eat diets that are rich in vegetables and fruits, a good intake of water, less intake of salt, sugar, and fat, there is a less risk for you to get these two things, overweight and obesity. Number two, when you eat foods that are high in fiber, mostly the plant-based foods, then you are least at risk of getting overweight and obesity. So that is very important. The other way of preventing and managing your weight is physical activity. When you do exercise, you burn excess fats, and excess fats will less accumulate in your blood or will less accumulate in your under your skin, and that gives you less risk to being overweight or obese. Remember, we said fat make you fat. If you take a lot of fat, then there's a likelihood of you having these two conditions that we are talking about. So we recommend that you do at least 30 minutes exercise on a daily basis, at least for 5 days a week, or 150 minutes exercise a week. This could be routine that you do at home course. It could be walking, could be doing some running, riding a bicycle, playing some football, skipping a rope, skating, among other exercises that you could do. It is important that you make exercise interesting. That is when now it can be sustainable and can give you a result. Exercise that makes you breathe slightly faster and make you sweat and consistent will give you a much more result compared to the one that you do inconsistently. Yes, so you can always graduate or upscale your exercise depending on your level of endurance. The more you do, the better. You are also allowed to join a gym with a qualified trainer who will be able to also guide you on what you are able to do. But before you enroll into a gym, it will be important that you get a recommendation from your medical doctor so that you do not harm yourself by doing an extreme of what is not very healthy for your condition or for your body. It's also important to mention that when you are eating, it is good to be mindful of what you eat. Meaning, right now there are people who eat without being mindful, like their minds are not there. That is called subconscious eating, and that might lead to you eating more than enough without knowing. Remember, what is available before you, closer to you, is what you will most likely be eating. It is important to also limit, reduce, and avoid, where possible, intake of alcohol, because alcohol provides you with a lot of kilocalories, which are stored in your body when they are not in use. And these now are converted to fat and fat, we said, makes you fat. Intake of fatty foods again is important to reduce to prevent you from having a lot of cholesterol in your body. You also need to reduce intake of empty calories such as soda, carbonated drinks, because they do not give you any other nutrient except energy, which excess energy is stored in the body in the form of fat, which is not very important. We advise that you also take enough water. When you take enough water, especially before meals, that occupies a part of your stomach, so it reduces the amount of food that you take at any given time that you are eating. Again, taking some fruit before you eat is much advisable, because fruits, they have got fiber, and fiber makes you full, and also they tend to remove the bad fat from your system, and that is important. We advise that you do not be eating while driving or by watching your television or reading or performing any other activity, because through doing that you tend to not concentrate on your satiety level, and also it makes you to consume more than you always eat. In terms of your portion size, we advocate for the use of a plate model. Our plate model is divided into three. The first half is full of vegetables and fruits. Especially if you are not diabetic, you're allowed to eat as much fruits and vegetables. They have got more fiber, making you full, and again, they have got micronutrients that are helping you to prevent infections. The other half is divided into two to have got one third and the other third, and the first third is proteins, especially the lean proteins and plant proteins are more advisable. Again, they have got good sources of fat, they have got fiber, and they have got less salt and less sugar, which is important. The other third is we have got grains, food that are naturally giving you starches that are less processed of those, and that is important because we know that they are the main sources of sugar. Too much sugar intake will lead you to have elevated sugars, which are converted either to fat, and at some point it can also lead to uncontrolled blood sugars if your insulin is overwhelmed. So that is very, very important. There are some other ways of managing and preventing overweight and obesity. There are some organic foods that are also used, such as chia seeds. They are okay. They have got enough fiber. They have got omega-3, which are good fat that tries to remove your bad fat from your body and takes them to where they are excreted from your body. So that is okay. No problem if you'll be using some things like ginger, using like lemon in some water. Yeah, there's a way in which they also work together to ensure that it increases your metabolism. Things like we also have got tea, lemon tea. Again, they work with the same mechanism of increasing your metabolism, and thereby you break down the excess calories. So, importantly, it is important for us to watch what we eat, do more exercise, and be just intentional to do regular checkup of our weight and our height, and we just form a community around us where we are doing healthy activities together to ensure that we are okay. Exercise is very important for everyone, not necessarily for the purpose of weight management, and this is important. And prevention is better than cure. Many of the diseases we are currently talking about, diabetes, cancers, and hypertension, they are related to our weight. And today, if you go to the hospital, more than a third of the admissions are related to these things we are talking about. And so we are able to prevent much, because once you get some of these complications of weight, and they are very expensive to treat, they are long term, and we are able to prevent. We say that prevention is better than cure. And so I hope and believe that through these tips that we've shared on nutrition management, overweight, and obesity, we are able to go along to practice them and even to share with others. So I believe we continue to link up more as you watch our videos, as you subscribe and like and share with others. And in case of any comment, in case of any question, you can share with us through our links that are also attached on our YouTube channels. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. We're grateful.